On Venezuela in particular, are Maduro's days as president numbered?
I would say, yeah. I think so, yeah.
And this issue of potential land strikes in Venezuela, is that true?
I don't tell you that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true or untrue, but I wouldn't.
Why would we do
be
it?
inclined to say that I would do that, but because I don't talk to a reporter about whether or not I'm going to strike.
On Venezuela in particular, are Maduro's days as president numbered?
I would say, yeah. I think so, yeah.
And this issue of potential land strikes in Venezuela, is that true?
I don't tell you that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true or untrue, but I wouldn't.
Why would we
wouldn't
do
be
it?
inclined to say that I would do that, but.
All right, Shalom. Like to start up saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harikak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and double honors to our elder apostle as well, down here in the lines of the camp, Aharawan Ban Yashar Allah. Salutations to the argument that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and true, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khalak An Ban Yashar Allah from the lines of the Yashar Allah camp, and this is another lines that news and prophecy. All right, it says Trump sends world's most powerful warship to Latin America, historic echoes of regime change. All right, so you heard with the little short clip, played it back twice, when she asked, would he say that the Maduro's days, that's the one that's presently running Venezuela, are numbered. They've been trying to get rid of this guy since like 2016, I want to say. You know, when Trump was, I want to maybe 2018 going into 2018, uh, 2018 election where he was reelected. Um, no, wait, 2019 when they assembled Juan Guaido, declared himself the interim president recognized as the U.S. See, so that was 2019, Slakia. Now they tried to put Guaido in there and to get rid of Maduro. But yeah, man. So now they're sending the world's most powerful warship. He said he changed it to the Department of War. All right, you know that's man. Listen, you hear wars and rumors of wars. This man's talking about invading Venezuela, but Venezuela is backed by Russia. You know, hell, this is literally like yeah, America's is going to be fighting on too many fronts. You know, they're not going to be able to sustain themselves, and nobody's going to come to the aid of the United States. Like all these other countries are coming to the aid of of like with Russia, with North Korea, um helping out. You had China helping out somewhat. You got Belarus. You got although you do have a bunch of nations that NATO nations that are coming to the aid of Ukraine. But at the end of the day, all this is set up to to be the downfall of America. All right, this is Second Ezra 15:1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are faithful and true." Right, written on paper. That's what we'll do, because as watchmen on the Lord, we write it down and make it, you know what I'm saying, more plain for the people to read it. You see that? It says, President Donald Trump is ordering the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford to head to the Caribbean as he ramps up his crusade against drugs, marking the first time a carrier has conducted an operational deployment in the region in more than 30 years. See, that's the crazy part about it. It said a war against drugs. The same thing they did in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s in our communities. War against drugs. What it was is really the war against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that stayed in those communities because they put the drugs there. So how do you want to wage war against somebody just like how they wanted to wage war against Saddam Hussein to get control over the oil in that region? They put the chemical weapons in his hands and told him to use them, and then prosecute him for him doing exactly what they told him to do. Right? So the devil is wicked because everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie. Every single thing that comes out of his mouth is a lie. Now he's being exposed as the devil. See that? He's being exposed as the devil. All right. It says where is that? Let me keep going. It says Trump has built up a naval arsenal in the region as attacks against alleged drug boats have increased since September. But sending an aircraft carrier to an unprecedented move. A warship like the Ford hasn't participated in the military operations in the region since 1994. When two carriers were dispatched to respond to political unrest in Haiti for operational uphold democracy, according to the U.S. Southern Command's records shared with Fox News Digital. It said the Ford's deployment comes as Trump has signaled that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro may not be in office much longer. Damn, they're gonna probably try to unalive this dude, man. The Trump administration has conducted 15 strikes in the Caribbean, while U.S. lawmakers have raised concerns about their legality and a border conflict in the region, right? Because that's what it's going to cause. You know, like Trinidad and Tobago, what they going to do? They have no choice but to let the United States dock there. You know, it says during Operation Uphold Democracy. Operation Uphold. Man, listen, let's look this up. Operation Uphold Democracy. All right, it says Operation Uphold Democracy. Multinational military intervention in Haiti designed to remove the military regime installed by Raoul Cedras in 1991. Co-op, what are these first names? Overthrew the elected president Jean Barthelin Arstad. The operations was eventually authorized by the 1994 July 31st United Nations Security Council Resolution 940, which approved the use of force to restore the Aristide government. All right, so basically, this is when um, how America says they got to go spread democracy everywhere. You see that? That's what they disguise their wickedness under, democracy and freedom fighting, and thinks, oh, we got to go free the people. But that's not what it is at all, man. This is Psalms chapter 58 and 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So everything that comes out of Esau's mouth is a lie, man. Psalms 36 and 3. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He have left off to be wise and to do no good. That goes for 2/3 of our people and mainly Esau too, man. You know. But it says the wicked are estranged from the womb. As soon as they be born, they speak lies. It says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. See that? It says which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, which are us out here teaching, charming ever so wisely. All right. It says break their teeth, O Yahweh, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lion, O Lord. The young lion is talking about is Esau. Let them melt away as water which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces. All right. So what's really gonna happen is the tongue's gonna fall upon them. You see that? Because they're being revealed who the wicked is. So the wicked are estranged from the womb, man. Let's get Psalm 55:21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. See that? They'll try to smooth it over, talking about they want to. Oh yeah, it was time to go give some freedom. You see that? You know, it says the forward deployment comes as Trump has signaled that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro may not be in office much longer. It's like the Trump administration has conducted 15 strikes in the Caribbean, while United States lawmakers have raised concerns about the legality and a border conflict in the region. See that? So, right? How how justified are these strikes that they're doing? Really not justified at all. You know. It says during Operation Uphold Democracy, aircraft carriers USS Dwight D. Eisenhower and USS America headed to the region as part of a multinational intervention after Haitian Lieutenant General Raoul Cedras led a military co-op in 1991 that ousted the island's first freely elected president, Jean Bertrand Aristide. It says in July 1994, the United Nations passed a resolution authorization to use the use of military forces to restore democracy in Haiti, paving the way for Operation Uphold Democracy to launch in September 1994 as a military buildup designed to pressure Cedras regime to step down, according to the State Department's Office of the Historian. It says at the time, President Bill Clinton justified the intervention, which involved nearly 25,000 U.S. troops, as necessary to remove the Cedras regime after employing every diplomatic avenue possible. Clinton said in a radio address September 17, 1994, that Cedras regime had two options: either to leave peacefully or to be ousted forcefully. All right. So, they constantly try to paint the image, the false narrative of them spreading democracy, right? Slacking. But really, it's a way to have total control and wage war on whoever they want to wage war on. Because if there was nothing going on, no resources or anything like that going on in these places that they were occupying, there wouldn't be there. See that? It says, in addition to military force, Clinton also announced the former President Jimmy Carter, former chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff Colin Powell, and 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 then chairman of the State Armed Services Committee, Sam Nunn, had departed for Haiti in a final attempt to secure a peaceful transfer of power. U.S. forces started to arrive in Haiti September 19, 1994, while diplomatic negotiations between the United States delegation and Cedras regime were underway, ultimately prompting Cedras regime to surrender and allowing Aristide to return to power. I don't want to read into that no more, but we talking about this. All right. All right. Skip down to this. It says, meanwhile, Trump is ramping up strikes against alleged drug boats in the Caribbean. totaling 15 strikes since the beginning of September, stoking concerns from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle about whether they are legal. For example, Senator Adam Schiff, Tim Kaine, and Rand Paul introduced a war powers resolution prohibiting U.S. armed forces from engaging in hostiles against Venezuela. But he wiped his ass with that. The Trump administration has made it clear that they may launch military actions inside Venezuela's borders and at won't stop at boat strikes in the Caribbean, Schiff said in a statement October 17th. Mm. All right, this is a lot. Yeah, man, that's Esau doing his thing again, and that's the Lord really revealing him as being the devil. Because the world is not gonna, the world is only gonna study war as long as this devil's in the power. This is Second Thessalonians chapter 2. We started verse 7. It says, "For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way." Right. That was Paul explaining to them, like, yo, the man of sin is on the. He's talking about the Roman Empire. It says, "And then shall the wicked be revealed." All right, so he will let until he be taken out of the way. Right. The Lord has to take this devil out of the way, but the Lord is exposing him and revealing who he is before he does that. Verse 8, it says, "Then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Right, the spirit of his mouth is the prophets, and the brightness of his coming is going to be them chariots, ramping up military forces against them. See that? Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. See that? That's how, you know what I'm saying? It says, "And with all deceivableness." See, right, he comes with deception. Every single time he comes with deception of unrighteousness and them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. Right? So it's also judgment on 2/3 of our people that are in Venezuela. You see that? That you know what I'm saying? It says now it's time for the Lord to start judgment, and he's going to start at his house, roughly paraphrasing. So we're witnessing the downfall of Esau and the transitioning into Jacob's trouble into our salvation simultaneously. You see that? Let me get Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and see what he shall say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved." Right. So as watchmen of the Lord, we stand upon our watch. That's why the scripture says in 2 Ezra chapter 15, it says, "Speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy." See that? Speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. So we have to, you know what I'm saying, watch and see what the Lord's going to tell us to what message to put out. And the Lord answered me and said, "Write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it." Right. The next person may run that read it and do the same thing. Each one reach one, teach one to get, the warning out throughout the earth. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not right up in him, but the just shall live by faith." So we ain't falling for the trickery of the devil. You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to be dependent on the devil. We stay upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, "Yea, also because he can transgress by wine, which is confusion, drunkenness. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." See that? And that's what he does. It says, Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb? Like he's doing all this, and you would think that he would be able to understand what the end all will be, but no. It says against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Like you would think he was like, how long? But he in his mind he doesn't know destruction is going to come behind um behind him increasing that which is not his. And because that what he continues to do, right? What does that do? That thick clay is dead. See that? He just piling up a whole lot of debt that he's gonna have to be repaid for. All right, so we look forward to seeing these things happen in the earth, wars and rumors of wars, because we know that our salvation is drawing nigh. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Lord willing, this lesson to edify and serve the purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones that truly believe in the name. Yahweh Shemi, I'll try with that. I like Sekah Halayim, La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakak Wadash, my mouth. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone. Double honors to my elder apostles as well. I hear one down here. I hear one by Yashar down here in the Lions and Camp. Salutations to the occupants that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shai. Shalom.